If a man truly misses you, he's not going to just blurt it out. Let me tell you something most relationship advice completely fails to explain. A man who honestly longs for you usually won't send long emotional texts or openly admit how much you're on his mind. That's simply not how the male mind expresses desire or longing. His thought process runs on a different wavelength, one that communicates more through actions than direct words. And if you don't understand how to read these signals, you'll overlook the exact moments when your presence has the strongest impact on his emotional world. Here's the real truth that many avoid saying out loud. A lot of women spend energy over analyzing messages, waiting for clear confessions, or searching for obvious signs of affection, while overlooking the 3 predictable behaviors that always reveal when a man is quietly overwhelmed by thoughts of you. These aren't vague signs, they are consistent neurological reactions that show up when a man has formed a real emotional attachment. Once you recognize them, you won't waste time wondering if he's thinking about you or if he has already moved on. The issue isn't that men are confusing or emotionally distant. The problem is that most people have been taught to look for the wrong clues. They expect emotional speeches and dramatic expressions, but real masculine longing appears through behavior, subtle shifts, quiet actions, and unconscious habits he couldn't hide even if he tried. What you're about to read will break these behaviors down completely. Once you learn to identify them, confusion turns into certainty. Doubt becomes clarity. You'll understand exactly where you stand without needing to ask. So really pay attention. Don't skip through this, because understanding these patterns will change the way you read male behavior forever. Before talking about the 3 behaviors, it's important to understand a major difference in how men and women experience missing someone. This isn't a stereotype, it's based on how the brain works, human psychology, and behavioral patterns seen across cultures and circumstances. When a woman misses someone, she often wants to talk about it, express her feelings, and create closeness through conversation. Her mind seeks emotional connection and verbal bonding as a way to handle longing. A man's psychology works differently. When he misses you, his brain doesn't naturally lean toward emotional sharing. Instead, another system becomes active. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning and problem solving, kicks in. He starts thinking about how to reduce the distance between you. How can he see you again? What excuse can he use to reach out? How can he offer something meaningful so his contact seems natural? This isn't emotional avoidance, it's simply how masculine energy reacts when there is desire mixed with uncertainty. The brain chemicals involved make the process even clearer. When a man genuinely longs for you, his dopamine pathways become more active. Dopamine is not just about pleasure, it drives motivation and the urge to pursue something meaningful. His mind begins to strategize ways to get closer to you. That leads to noticeable shifts in his behavior, ones he can't fake. You can't force these reactions by playing games or trying tricks, because they come from real emotional investment. Testosterone also influences how men handle emotional states. Men with higher testosterone usually communicate through doing rather than speaking. Missing you doesn't make him want to write long, heartfelt paragraphs. It pushes him to act. He wants to solve the feeling. He wants to create a chance to reach you, to take steps, to move toward fixing the emotional gap. Once you understand this core difference, the 3 behaviors become obvious. They aren't random, they're the natural result of a male brain truly impacted by your absence. There's another factor, ego protection. Many men fear rejection or appearing vulnerable in romantic situations. Even if he thinks about you constantly, saying it directly feels risky. What if you don't feel the same anymore? What if you've moved on? What if he looks too eager? These thoughts create a barrier between what he feels inside and what he is willing to show on the outside. That's why his actions become his real language. It's safer, it exposes less, but ironically, it reveals more truth than his words ever will. The attachment system in the brain also plays a part in how missing someone shows up through behavior. When someone forms a strong bond, the brain creates a kind of emotional object permanence. Even when the person isn't physically present, their image stays active in the mind. This leads to sudden, unplanned moments where he thinks of you. He might be busy with work and suddenly remember a moment you shared. He might hear a song, smell something familiar, or pass by a place that immediately reminds him of your presence. These involuntary thoughts reveal that you've taken up real mental space inside his world. Missing someone also forms emotional tension. The brain hates unresolved feelings. When a man misses you, his subconscious tries to relieve that pressure through action. These impulses show up in clear behavioral patterns that you can recognize once you know them. After that, guessing disappears. His actions become a direct reflection of what he feels. The first consistent behavior that appears when a man secretly misses you is that he begins to orbit your world. He finds reasons to stay close to you, even if indirectly. This is one of the biggest signs, and yet it's often misunderstood. Many women interpret this as mixed signals or even disinterest, when in reality it's usually the opposite. His mind is trying to keep some connection while still protecting his pride and maintaining control. Orbiting shows up in different ways depending on his personality and the connection you shared. He might repeatedly watch your social media stories but avoid liking or commenting. He might suddenly interact more with mutual friends, casually slipping in questions that give him updates about your life. He might appear in places where he thinks you might be, making it look like coincidence even though it's intentional. This behavior comes from something psychologists call proximity seeking. When someone holds emotional importance in your mind, the brain tries to reduce the emotional distance. For men, this often happens indirectly because indirect closeness carries less emotional risk. He gets to feel connected to your world without fully exposing how much he cares. Information gathering is also part of this. When a man is missing you but doesn't feel confident enough to come forward, he starts quietly collecting information about your life. He wants to know if you're okay. He wants to know if someone else is giving you attention. He wants to know if there's still space for him. But he won't ask directly because asking directly means vulnerability. So he uses other routes. He might check your posts more often. He might monitor changes in your online activity. He might talk to people who know you, pretending the conversation is about something else. All of this is fueled by the same emotional tension building inside him. Missing someone activates the mind in powerful ways, and the more he tries to hide it, the more it shows through his behavior. Another sign is inconsistency that isn't really inconsistency. It's hesitation caused by fear and desire happening at the same time. One moment he seems close, the next moment he pulls back a little. Many women take this personally or assume he isn't interested, but in reality, it's often a sign he's caught between wanting to reach out and being afraid of appearing too vulnerable. The internal struggle looks like mixed signals, but it's actually emotional pressure leaking out. When a man misses you deeply, he battles with himself. He wants to erase the distance, but he doesn't want to embarrass himself. He wants to act, but he doesn't want to seem needy. The result is behavior that shifts back and forth because he's trying to maintain control over impulses his brain is pushing him to follow. The second major behavior that reveals he misses you is that he becomes unusually reactive to anything involving you. This is important. When a man is indifferent, nothing you do affects him, but when he misses you, even small things hit differently. If you post something new, he pays attention. If someone interacts with you, he notices. If you seem happy, curious, distant, or unavailable, he reacts internally even if he hides it externally. His emotional world becomes sensitive to your movements because you still matter to him. This reactivity shows up in small ways that are easy to miss but extremely revealing once you look closely. A man who misses you might respond faster than usual at random times. He may show sudden bursts of interest. He might become jealous without admitting it. He might act more thoughtful or more careful with his words. These reactions come from emotional tension. When someone still holds a place in your heart, you can't help but react to them. The third major behavior, and the one most women overlook, is that he starts to mentally prepare ways to come back into your life. Even if he hasn't reached out yet, his mind is already building scenarios. He starts imagining what he would say if he contacted you. He thinks about how he could reconnect without looking desperate. He replays old conversations, looking for the right angle. He prepares possible messages in his head. He waits for the perfect moment. This is a huge sign because men don't waste mental energy planning contact with someone they don't care about. When he misses you, preparation becomes a quiet habit. He waits for the moment that feels safe. He waits for a situation that gives him an excuse. He waits for a sign that you won't reject him. These mental rehearsals show that you still influence him more than you realize. Missing someone is a powerful emotional state. The male brain tries to manage it through action, strategy, hesitation, and planning. When he truly misses you, you will see it in his behavior long before he ever admits it in words. His actions become the translation of his inner feelings. Once you learn to recognize these patterns, you'll never again question where you stand. His behavior will tell you everything you need to know. When a man starts missing you, his curiosity about your life begins to grow. He wants to know if you're doing well, if you're happy, if someone new has entered your world, or if anything about your routine has shifted. His mind begins gathering small pieces of information to figure out what he should do next. He begins noticing things he may have ignored before. He remembers comments you made weeks ago. He pays attention to little shifts in your habits, your mood, or even how you carry yourself. This sharper awareness usually comes from a real emotional bond forming inside him. The online world has created even more ways for him to observe these changes. A man may interact with what you post in small, quiet, but meaningful ways. He might react to certain updates, keep an eye on your new posts, or watch your activity regularly while still trying to keep a respectful distance. When he likes a photo from several days back, it shows he wasn't just casually looking, he was scrolling through your profile on purpose. When he views your stories moments after you upload them, it suggests he's checking in on you, possibly even with notifications turned on. These small digital signs leave a clear trail showing how much space you take up in his thoughts. There's also a subtle protective instinct behind this kind of orbiting that comes from natural psychology. By keeping himself visible in your world, he quietly signals to others that he still feels connected to you. It's not always a planned or controlling move. Most of the time, it's an automatic instinct built into the way people guard emotional value. The most important sign is consistency. A random burst of attention doesn't mean much, but when he repeatedly shows up in your digital spaces or in places you might be in real life, when his presence becomes something you almost expect, it shows that missing you has become part of his daily routine rather than a passing thought. His mind has created a habit of staying close to your world, and habits form only when something truly matters. This kind of orbiting usually isn't manipulation or a mind game. It often happens without him fully noticing it. His logical mind might tell him to keep moving forward or create space, but his emotional side quietly pulls him back towards you again and again. The desire wins over his attempts at reason. When you notice this repeated behavior, you're witnessing real emotional conflict inside him. One part of him is trying to protect himself from getting hurt, while another part can't stop being drawn to you. Men also orbit when they want to leave the door open. Even when he feels the timing isn't right or his life is complicated, he still won't want you to forget him or become completely distant. By keeping some level of presence, he makes sure he stays in a corner of your mind. This isn't usually about disrespect or treating you as a backup option. It often comes from hope. When a man imagines even a small chance of something meaningful with you, he instinctively tries to keep that hope alive through steady, subtle reminders of himself. What makes orbiting especially revealing is the effort behind it. Watching your stories, showing up in places you might visit, staying connected through mutual friends, keeping tabs on your posts. None of this happens without intention. Men don't repeatedly spend energy in places that hold no emotional importance. If he keeps showing up in your periphery, it's because his mind has decided you're worth the effort. The emotional comfort he gets from staying connected feels more rewarding than the effort he puts in to stay linked. The strength of his orbit usually matches the depth of his feelings. If he only has mild interest, his attention will be random and inconsistent. If his feelings run deeper, his presence becomes more stable and structured. When you look at his orbiting behavior over time, you'll notice it either grows stronger, stays constant, or starts to fade. When it gets stronger, it usually points to growing feelings and increasing courage. When it stays steady, it shows that his interest is real, but he may still be balancing fear, timing, or personal hesitation. When his presence fades, that's the only real sign he's beginning to let go. Orbiting often happens before he takes direct action. It's a warm-up stage where he gathers his bravery and waits for a moment that feels right. He's watching quietly, paying attention to the emotional environment, trying to avoid being hurt or rejected. When his orbiting becomes more frequent or more obvious, it usually means he's reaching a point where he can't keep it inside anymore. Missing you has reached a level where taking some kind of step forward starts to feel unavoidable. Another telling shift shows up in the way he communicates. It's not only about how often he reaches out, but also the timing, the emotional tone, and what he chooses to share. Many women only notice whether he sends messages at all, but overlook the deeper clues hidden in the patterns. When a man misses you, his texts often come during particular emotional moments. Late at night or early in the morning are especially common times. During these hours, his guard is lower. The logical part of his mind that tells him to stay cool or keep distance goes quiet, and the emotional part takes over. Reaching out begins to feel natural, even necessary. If his messages often arrive at these times, it's usually because his longing is strongest when the world is quiet and he's left with his thoughts. The content of his messages changes too. You'll see him bring up shared memories or inside jokes you once laughed about together. When someone misses you, their mind automatically revisits moments tied to you. This is part of how the brain reprocesses memories, something that happens effortlessly when strong emotion is present. By bringing up old moments, he is unconsciously trying to spark the old feelings again. He wants to remind himself, and you, of what made your connection special. You'll also notice that his questions become more thoughtful and personal. When a man truly misses you, small talk feels empty. He becomes genuinely curious about what you think and how you feel. He wants to know more than your schedule. He wants to know your inner world. People don't invest this level of emotional attention in someone who isn't important to them. Another sign is when he sends little updates about his day, random thoughts, songs, videos, or articles that made him think of you. These aren't sent because they're important pieces of information. They're emotional breadcrumbs meant to keep the conversation alive. Keeping a connection going softens the uncomfortable feeling of missing you. Each message is like a small bridge that lets him feel closer for a moment. His response behavior reveals even more. A man who constantly thinks about you tends to reply quickly, or he might take extra time because he's being careful with his words. Quick replies happen because you're already in his mind. Slower, thought-out replies happen because he wants to make sure his words land well. Either pattern shows emotional care. True lack of interest shows itself through confusing, inconsistent, or careless responses. You may also notice that his language starts to change. Words like we or us appear more often, even in casual or imaginary situations. This shift in language shows that his mind is beginning to see you as part of his future, not just his past or present. It's a sign of emotional closeness growing under the surface, and then there is vulnerability creep. Over time, if he really misses you, he begins to open up more. He might share worries, dreams, disappointments, or private thoughts he normally keeps to himself. Missing someone creates emotional pressure, and opening up is the brain's natural way of releasing it. When he starts letting you see deeper parts of him, it's because the distance between you is affecting him more than he wants to admit. When he begins to treat you like the person he can be open and truthful with, it shows you hold a real spot in his emotional life. How he closes conversations tells you a lot too. Someone who wants to keep a connection going tries not to cut things off suddenly. You'll hear lines like, "Talk soon, tell me how it goes," or other open-ended comments that invite more talking later. Those little phrases are ways of leaving the door ajar. He's signaling he wants the emotional thread to remain. He's deliberately creating hooks for future chats because his mind wants to know contact will continue. When longing is involved, neat final endings feel wrong. The wish for ongoing contact beats social habits about ending a chat cleanly. Another clear sign is how sensitive he becomes to context. If a man misses you, he notices what's happening in your life and changes how he communicates because of it. Mention an event coming up and he'll ask about it later. Share a struggle and he'll follow up. That kind of attentiveness takes mental energy and focus. It means you're taking up enough space in his thoughts that he's keeping track of details and choosing to show up for you emotionally. The tone of his messages shifts too. As missing grows, his words often carry more warmth, more humor, or more openness than a normal friendly text. You'll sense a different quality in how he connects. There's more presence, more care woven into the sentences. That tonal change happens because emotions spill into expression and leave a clear mark on your interactions. The power of reading communication patterns is consistency. One single text doesn't mean much, but watching behavior across weeks reveals patterns that are hard to fake. The timing, the content, the depth, and the tone form a kind of signature showing what's going on inside him. When that signature matches the markers we've talked about, you're not guessing if he misses you. You're seeing proof. Most of these changes come out without planning. He's not sitting down to plot late-night messages. Emotions push impulses, and those impulses shape how he reaches out. When you notice those patterns, you're seeing past his polished image and into his real emotional world. You'll also see him make himself useful in real, practical ways. This is one of the clearest signs of true missing because it takes real work, not just talk. When a man genuinely misses you, he looks for reasons to remain part of your life. He wants to matter in a functional way, not only an emotional one. That can show up in many forms, depending on what he's good at, what he has, and what you need. He might help with something you mentioned, offer a piece of useful advice, fix a problem, or introduce you to someone who can help. He may go out of his way to make your day easier or lighter. It's not about dramatic stunts. It's about wanting to be useful. Men are often wired to provide and to solve problems. When you matter, that instinct grows stronger. Masculine identity has long been linked to providing and being useful. A man feels more secure when he believes he adds something to your life that's not easily replaced. When he misses you, his mind works to give you reasons to keep him close. By being valuable, he creates a kind of insurance against losing you. You're less likely to let go of someone who truly makes your life better. Attention to detail is a big part of this. If he remembers what you need or what you struggle with, it shows you occupy real mental space. His brain is processing information about your life and looking for ways to act on it. That level of attention doesn't happen by accident. People don't study your life to figure out how to help unless you mean something to them. You'll notice initiative as well. He doesn't wait for you to ask for help. He looks for chances and takes them. That shows a drive to be present and to stay relevant to you. When someone misses you, waiting can feel unbearable. Action seems necessary. By stepping forward, he meets his own need to feel connected while giving you experiences that bring you closer. Consistency separates true missing from polite gestures. One helpful act might not mean much. Repeated efforts to improve your life through actions show emotional investment. His mind has put your well-being high on the list. Personal sacrifice is another important sign. If he changes his schedule, spends his energy, or shifts his resources for your sake, he's showing you where you stand in his priorities. People protect their time and comfort. Choosing to inconvenience himself for you proves you matter more than ease. There's also a future focus in these actions. By being useful now, he's not just solving today's problems, he's investing in tomorrow's closeness. He wants to be one of the people you think of when you remember, who adds meaning to your life. That reveals hope and a wish for continued connection. Biology plays a role too. When he does something for you and you show appreciation, his brain rewards him with pleasant chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. That loop encourages repeated behavior. It's not trickery. When someone keeps finding ways to create good moments with you, it's because those moments feel good for him too. What makes this meaningful is that consistent usefulness takes real effort. Sending a quick text is easy. Showing up again and again, even when life is busy, is only possible if he actually cares. Specificity matters a lot. A vague, "let me know if you need anything," is one thing. Remembering your exact problem and offering a tailored solution proves he's paying attention. That requires time and thought. Male psychology often shows longing through actions more than words. Saying, "I miss you," can feel risky or exposing. Doing something for you feels safer and carries the same message. When you see thoughtful, steady actions, you're getting his version of "I miss you." Taken together, these shifts in how he communicates and how he adds value aren't random. They are common reactions to emotional longing. When you watch for all of these behaviors, you're not left confused. You're watching a man who's decided you matter enough to spend energy, time, and effort on. The gift of understanding this is clarity without needing to ask for it. You don't have to fish for reassurance or decode mixed messages. His behavior tells the truth. When these patterns appear, he's missing you, thinking of you, and working to keep the bond alive. Stop waiting for verbal proof. Pay attention to what he does. The truth shows up in his actions, not just in his words. Focus on action and confusion fades. You see reality more clearly, and that brings confidence. This insight also helps you make better choices. If these behaviors show up, you can trust his interest is real. If they do not, you also gain clarity. That means you're not dealing with someone who secretly longs for you. You're dealing with someone who didn't put you first. That awareness frees you to put your energy where it's valued. There's real freedom in that shift of perspective. When you know what genuine missing looks like, you stop overthinking single texts or rare favors. You step back and watch patterns. That wider view shields you from emotional roller coasters and keeps you grounded in reality. The most magnetic thing you can do is stay sure of your worth. No matter what his behavior shows, whether all the patterns are there or none, your value stays the same. You are not waiting to be chosen. You decide whether his investment meets your standards. This changes anxiety into choice. Remember, these patterns grow stronger as feelings deepen. A man who truly misses you doesn't fade away. His presence becomes clearer. His messages warm up. His efforts become steadier. Real investment shows as growth, not decline. You can't force these signs to appear. You can't play games or hold back to make a man miss you. True attachment produces these behaviors by itself. Tricks may get a short reaction, but they don't create lasting change. Be genuine and let real connection reveal itself. Finally, trust what you can observe, not what you only hope for. Hope can blur your judgment. Clear observation gives you truth. When you pair understanding with honest watching of behavior, you get the skill to read relationships clearly. You stop wasting time where real investment is missing, and you notice those who truly value you. Your answers are not hidden. They show up every day in what he does.